It's absolutely delightful to be here with David Black from Google. How are you today?
Really well, thank you. Pleasure to see you.
Pleasure to see you too, without your beard for a change.
I don't have a beard.
You've never had a beard?
It's an oft-repeated rumour.
I think next time you'd better have a beard next time I see you, otherwise I'll be very disappointed.
Next November.
Anyway, yes, well, exactly. Tying into Christmas, November, we're looking at the top watched videos on YouTube for Christmas ads. At the top of the list, not a big surprise, John Lewis, Buster the Boxer, and then we've got Sainsbury's coming in second. Something that I find a bit strange is these are all big UK companies. Why is it, do you think, that we haven't got any big American players that are up there?
Exactly. So this is a global leaderboard. So it's brilliant to see these big UK brands getting to the top of worldwide viewership on YouTube in our leaderboard. And I think that's all about the creativity that happens around Christmas time. You remember a few years back, the amazing Coca-Cola campaigns that really announced the coming of Christmas.
Yes.
You know, Christmas is coming as the Coca-Cola truck drives into town. At the moment, it's actually number 5 on the list. But I think what you really see is some of the UK retailers are now top of the list with just some incredible storytelling and really harnessing the power of sight and sound and motion. And they're doing that really well. They're engaging the YouTube community and they're creating great pieces of creative that are spreading all over the UK, but actually spreading all over the world as well.
So what do you think a UK retailer needs to do to create one of these ads that's a great export?
I think for any brand, it's all about how do you harness that power of sight and sound and motion. That's really what the power of a platform like YouTube gives to brands. And so they bring together that combination really, really smartly, and then they combine sight and sound and motion with 2 other things. Great emotion, that sort of emotional resonance, that thing that grabs your attention and tugs at your heartstrings, sometimes with a bit of humour. And I think you really see that in some of the campaigns this year. And also great storytelling, something that draws you in. Some of the campaigns are brilliant pieces of long form creative. Others, like the Asda ads, actually shorter form this year. And what brings them all together is actually the storytelling is really, really strong, really powerful.
You mentioned about obviously the tugging at the heartstrings thing, and I would say that perhaps these are more humorous maybe than in previous years and slightly less emotionally evocative, you know, as in traumatic maybe. Like last year's John Lewis advert I found very emotional. This one's a little bit more cutesy friendly. Do you think that's a trend generally? Do you think that we're moving into a slightly more pleasant style of creative as opposed to the slightly more emotive?
I think it's a whole mix, isn't there? You've got some brilliant, powerful, emotional ads. You know, you think about, say, the Sainsbury's campaign this year, all about getting ready for Christmas and preparing well, whereas this year John Lewis went for something a bit more humorous with Buster the Boxer. But I think the really cool thing is actually the campaigns themselves are amazing, but on YouTube you also see consumers then creating their own versions of those campaigns, their own edits, where actually they even build on the humour. So there's a brilliant take on the John Lewis ad with a dog bouncing up and down, watching Buster the Boxer bouncing up and down on the trampoline. There've been various political takes on the ad as well, and so the humour's there in the ad itself, but then it's being built on by consumers watching it, creating their own version of it. And that really, when you think about that from a marketing perspective, that gives you what marketers want. How do you get paid and owned and earned working really well together? That's what many of the brands on the leaderboard this year are doing really effectively.
The H&M one's a new entrant as well, I believe, into the top 10, because I don't think it was in there last week, was it?
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's a little bit different from a lot of these as well, and it's a little bit more indie perhaps. Do you think that's a trend? Do you think it'll move in that direction, or do you think it's a one-off?
So I think everybody's trying out new things, aren't they? But what we're seeing this year is more different brands in the leaderboard than ever before.
More movers and shakers.
So more movers and shakers, more people giving Christmas advertising a really fresh approach and bringing their campaigns to life on the platform, getting in front of new audiences, and then really, as they do that, seeing the power of YouTube, seeing how it delivers that cultural impact that they're looking for, gets their brand in front of more people, and actually by doing that delivers really, really strong results. That's why more people are giving it a go than ever before, more brands are on the platform than ever before.
This year, has there been any trends with regards to growth for people watching these adverts?
It's really incredible actually. So we're seeing 40% more searches for Christmas advertising than we saw this time last year. And so it's really become a cultural phenomenon, people coming onto the internet, wanting to search for Christmas campaigns and then finding them on YouTube. And then as a result of that, we're then seeing huge growth in the number of people coming to the ads on their Christmas advertising leaderboard. So the number of people watching the ads, the viewership on those ads is up over 20% year on year. So it's incredible growth in the campaigns.
What advice would you give to a brand if they were thinking about dipping their toe into the Christmas advertising world?
I'd really think about how can you start from what we always know to be true in great advertising, which is a great piece of consumer insight. What's the audience you're looking to target, and what's the real insight that sits behind how you can reach them with the right message at the right time. And then as you do that, think about how to use the power of sight and sound and motion together. That's really the power of the YouTube platform, underpinned by great storytelling.
Fabulous. Well, thank you very much for talking to us about what's going on in the world of advertising over Christmas, and have a Merry Christmas.
Have a very Merry Christmas.